Zambia'S Copper Belt Province brings to you The Lens, a program designed to bring insightful information on economics, mining, education, health, tourism, agriculture, environmental issues, sports, entertainment, current affairs, and many issues affecting the well-being of society.
Welcome to The Lens, your program coming from Zambia'S Copper Belt Studios, and I'm your host, Tovin Ngombe. On today's program, we are looking at Zambia's economic growth registered in 2024. As you are aware, the country in 2024 experienced a lot of hardships. We had the severe drought which affected the agriculture sector and the energy sector, resulting in the loss of crop production and also resulting in the energy sector deficit because of the drought again, and the country witnessed a severe load management, or popularly known as load shedding, and which affected most industries and the people in the country. And despite all this, the country managed to record the gross domestic product, or the GDP, of about 4.0%, and which many economic commentators are saying it is a miracle because no one counted Zambia to record such a growth, economic growth, because even the IMF and the World Bank downgraded the economic growth forecast to about 1.2%, and despite all these indicators, the country's economy rebounded and in 2024. And to discuss this matter, I have with me my guest in the studio. I have Mr. Harrison Mumba, who is also a lecturer at NIPA under the Business Studies. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on the next program today.
Thank you so much. And I also have Mr. Joseph Muleya, who is also a lecturer at NIPA under the Business Studies. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Tovin. It's my pleasure being here.
All right. Maybe we begin. What could have led to this the 4% gross domestic product growth which the country registered? What could be the factors that led to this, despite the country going through one of the worst difficulties of drought and also energy sector deficit? Mr. Mule.
Thank you, Tovin. To start with, the growth in the economy could be attributed to several factors, which among them is resilient mining sector. Okay, so in the last quarter of 2024, the mining sector grew by 26.8%, therefore contributing to the growth in the economy. Apart from that, we also saw growth in the services industry and also the hospitality. This is also coupled by increase in the financial sector and the retail services. So all these put together led to the growth in the economy.
All right. Mr. Mumba, what could also lead to this growth in the economy?
Sure. Just like what my colleague has alluded to, indeed, we saw economic growth in the mining sector's activities. Mining sector is one of the major sectors here in Zambia,
and it is a biggest contributor to our economic growth. Because of the new reforms that were put into place in the mining sector, we saw a number of investments and key mining firms pledging billions of dollars to invest in the mining sector. For example, the Kituba Copper Mine, which committed $563 million USD, the Miomba Copper Cobalt Mine also announced some investment in the mining sector. We have got the Enterprise Nickel product that is pledging also $250 million in the mining sector. And you know, nickel is a major commodity in the production of batteries and also other renewable energies. And all these new pronouncements of new investments made us possible for us to record the growth in the economy of the country. And besides that, the mines that we have here in Zambia, for example, KCM, it increased copper production to 12%. And also, Mupani copper mines aiming to double production by 800,000 metric tons by 2030. All these pronouncements and other key activities in the economy led to the economic growth. Other than the mining sector, we saw the increase in construction activities, also tourism, the financial sector, combined together resulted in the growth that we recorded here in Zambia in 2024 by 4%.
All right, and others are also saying when the country witnessed this severe drought, the president declared actually it as a disaster, and they're saying the country received a lot of help because of this declaration, and it could have also created a good atmosphere for this economic growth. That's what some people are saying, but do you agree with them, and what could be your views, Mr. Mle?
Yes. The drought led to a lot of work outside the international community. For example, the World Bank came in to help with about 208 million United States dollars for emergency cash assistance, just to help the economy to move forward. Apart from that, the United Nations initiative of about 5.5 million United States dollars relief funding was also one of the milestones that were seen in the previous year. Then we also have the World Food Program. They also came in to help in the distribution of food so that the country is food secure. And then apart from that, UNICEF also came in to bring in support so that they can help revamp the economy. So those are some of the issues that came along, or external help that came from the outside community, following the drought that affected the economy.
All right, Mr. Moon.
Yeah, that is true. Indeed, as you know, Zambia is part of the World Bank Country Partnership Framework, and now this framework is all about economic growth, climate resilience, and also economic recovery. So Zambia indeed did receive a number of support from the international players like the IMF, the World Bank, and these cushions some of the economic challenges that we did experience as a result of the drought that impacted our economy.
All right, Mr. Mumba, again, the policy, especially on energy, after witnessing the worst load management as a country, also government actually heightened its policy, especially on the energy sector, so that at least they can also venture into the energy mix, such as the solar energy, which actually the government has even shortened the time of applying. If one want to want to set up a solar plant, it will to do about 48 hours. It used to be 6 months, but now it is 48 hours. You walk in and then get your license and then set up an energy sector and then a solar energy plant. Could this be some of the indicators that help the country to help the communal economy of this nation moving?
Okay, indeed, this could be also a factor that saw us through in this economic challenge. For example, the policy on the renewable energy of 2022 indeed has got nice reforms that can boost economic activities. For example, reduction of dependence on hydropower, so that citizens and people in general can look for alternative energy sources. For example, the solar energy source. So this actually boosted investment in this renewable energy, and I know the government came up with the lucrative incentives for those that are trying to invest in the renewable energy sector. For example, tax cuts, And also apart from that, RIA, which is Rural Electrification Authority, has made sure that the rural part of the country is electrified. And once that happens, we expect economic activities in rural areas as well. And when this summed up together with the economic activities in the urban areas, as a result of these reforms on the renewable energy, indeed will have a positive impact on the national economy.
All right, Mr. Mure.
Okay, just to add on to what my colleague has said, the energy mix came in with a lot of benefits in the sense that, in the first place, it increased production output by the manufacturing sector. This increase in the production output also meant that there was increase in consumption expenditure by households. And also the supply chain was also reduced. So the demand for goods and services met the supply at the same time because production was taking place in good time. Apart from that, most firms also took advantage of this so that they can also increase on their revenue generation, and that also added on to the economic growth and also the growth in the gross domestic product.
All right. Again, we can call it as a paradox against the economic forecast of 1.2% of GDP by World Bank and IMF. And actually everyone expected that the country's economy is going to record a recession. But now the opposite. It's now the opposite. It has recorded a 4% growth in GDP. And what's your take on this growth again, Mr.
Okay. To me, it seems like that the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund did in fact underestimate the Zambia's ability to navigate through these economic challenges. The forecast that was made by these international players compared to what is on the ground that we saw is indeed a big discrepancy in terms of estimates. Zambia indeed showed that resilience in terms of economic recovery and to navigate through the challenges which the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank could not foresee. And also, it's a paradox in such a way that the government came up with so many reforms that tightened government spending in the midst of these economic challenges, and that also contributed to the economic growth that we did record. Indeed, it's a miracle to witness.
All right, Mr. Mura, your take on that one as well.
Okay, so we have one of them being the resilient mining sector. Just as I said earlier on, my friend also hinted on the same issue. We are the resilient mining sector. Apart from that, there was also growth in the services industry. Then, just to add on, we also have macroeconomic policies that were meant to help us move to another level. Take, for example, we managed to get to the debt restructuring deal, which also boosted or rather increased investor confidence outside. So those are some of the things that could be attributed to the growth in the economy. Instead of us recording a recession, but we had a positive increase in economic activities. Then, we also talk about market confidence. The investors also had confidence in the Zambian market. Why? Because of the enabling business environment which was created, and then this attracted more investors to come and invest into the economy.
All right. Actually, when we go to the inflation, Mr. Mumba, when the economic forecast was being announced, actually the country also recorded a slight decline in inflation from 16.8 to 16.5 in the month of March. Could this also be one of the results of the economic growth that the country recorded?
Sure, to some extent, yes. It could have been one of the factor. Inflation is one of the biggest measure of economic performance. And if there is a reduction in inflation, it means the purchasing power of money is enhanced, meaning consumers are able to access products that they never accessed before. And once the purchasing power of money is enhanced, it means there will be a reduction in the cost of production. And you know, production is one of the measures of national income. And if there is a reduction in the cost of production, for example, the factors of production, their prices are reduced, labor, we are talking of material, and we are talking of other key factors of production. And once the prices of such factors are reduced, it means there will be increase in the output in the economy. And once the output in the economy is increased, we expect economic growth. Quite okay, the reduction was quite small in terms of inflation, but to some extent it did impact the good performance in the economy of the country.
All right, Mr. Maya, again, actually, the country has actually, like in this year's 2022 projections, it's projected that the inflation is likely to reduce to about 6 to 8%, and with this slight improvement in inflation, are we like to see this being attained?
Yes, it is attained. It is going to be attained in the sense that, in the first place, we have investor confidence. Apart from that, the macroeconomic policies at hand help to sustain this inflation reduction that we are talking about today. Take, for example, the stable monetary policy, which the Bank of Zambia keeps on revising every quarter, helps us to attain the stable inflation rate. Because one of the targets of the monetary policy is to combat the incidence of inflation. So what we will say is that there will be stability in the financial sector. Apart from that, this is going to bring stability in the price of goods and services, therefore creating a conducive environment for the business community. And then consequently, we are going to have increase in economic growth.
All right. Well, viewers, if you are joining us, this is your program, The Lens, and we are discussing about the Zambia's economic growth registered in 2024, where the country registered about 4.0% of the gross domestic product, or the GDP. And in the studio, I have two guests, Mr. Muleya and also Mr. Mumba, discussing about these matters of national interest. How can this, Mr. Mumba, how can this economic growth be sustained so that we don't slide into what we witnessed, especially in the previous years?
Indeed, that's the trajectory that each and every one of us would want to see, that is stability in economic growth. Indeed, to sustain the growth that we have witnessed, the government need to come up with a number of strategies in order to maintain this growth and in fact to increase it in future. One of the strategies that the government can deploy is diversification. You know, mining has ever been the major economic sector here in Zambia. It's like we are just putting eggs in one basket. So what we need to do now is to diversify, not to depend on single sector, so that we can invest in other sectors, massive investment in agriculture. We need to have massive investment in ICT. You know, the world is now revolutionizing itself, going ICT way. So we need to invest in ICT like artificial intelligence so that economic growth is enhanced. Also, the government should increase investment in infrastructure, because without infrastructure like hospitals, schools, we cannot see economic growth. Good road networks, as we are seeing, the construction of the dual carriageway from Lusaka to Ndola, indeed, this will boost economic growth. Rather than improving on infrastructure, the government should also promote private sector development, meaning supporting the small and medium enterprises, indeed we also maintain and sustain the economic growth that we have witnessed. And the government is actually on this same way of going to maintain this economic growth. We have seen a number of skills being developed. For example, under the CDF, a number of skills for entrepreneurship are being developed. And this is what we in fact need in this country. We need to move our mindsets to entrepreneurship. Because if each one of us is entrepreneurial in nature, indeed there will be no over-dependence on government in terms of employment, and we are going to develop a culture whereby we ourselves will provide employment, and that in fact will help the government efforts in reducing employment rate. Also, I mentioned the skill development. What I see is if the government can invest in its citizens by developing artisan skills, indeed this can also boost economic growth, and indeed we will sustain the growth that we have witnessed in 2024.
All right, Mr. Moya, how can we sustain this, or how can the government sustain this economic growth registered in 2024?
Okay, so one of them is the energy mix that we have already spoken about here. We need to invest more in alternative energy sources. Over-dependence on hydroelectricity cannot take us anywhere, because right now we have power deficit in the economy, and this has affected some sectors of the economy. So if we can increase investment in the energy sector, that can help us to move a step ahead. Apart from that, there should also be an increase in fiscal stability. The financial sector plays a key role in the economy. So a stable financial sector is going to attract more investment. And once investment is growing, this is going to consequently lead to increase of growth in the economy or in GDP. Then, one other thing that we can think of is also to invest more in infrastructure. Infrastructure development is one of the key issues that can lead to economic growth. So if we invest more, it's going to attract more investors to come in, because they know that they will have confidence in our economy. Then last but not the least, we need also to invest much in the service industry, because we depend so much in copper production. But if we can move a little bit into the service industry, we will expect to see growth in the economy, because this is also one of the key sectors that can accelerate economic growth.
All right. Mr. Mumba, you talked of actually the mining, or dependence on the mining, and if we can add value to what we are producing right away. As you may be aware, mining is not only here on the copper belt. We have Northwestern, we have Karumbira mine there, we have Rumwana mine, we have Kansanshi mine there. They are producing copper, and actually Karumbira also has advantage into nickel production. And also nickel is being produced also in southern province. And if there have been a talk of actually venturing into car batteries, and we haven't seen much about from the pronouncements, what is your advice, your take on this, especially to government or the people spearheading the issue of the car batteries? What is your message to them?
Okay, my take is, once mined, nickel shouldn't be exported as a raw material. Because if we do so, it's like we are transferring value to other countries instead of the value of nickel benefiting our economy. So what should happen now is the government should make sure that it spearheads the processing of nickel within the country to come up with plants within Zambia, and also to come up with battery manufacturing plants here in Zambia. We shouldn't take the manufacturing of batteries outside the country, otherwise we cannot benefit fully from a nickel commodity. The manufacturing of the products of nickel should be done within Zambia, and that it means the value from nickel will be maintained within the country, and that will boost economic growth.
All right, Mr. Moya, also copper being the key ingredient in the electricity car manufacturing and also batteries, and we also have the mineral. I think one of the mineral which was discovered in Mapatizia in southern province, which is a key ingredient also in the manufacturing of batteries. What is your take on this? What should, as a government or as a country, do to benefit from this, turning this into finished product and then ensuring that the pronouncements are actualized in the economy?
Okay, so in the first place, we need to have what we call value addition. So we intensify on value addition on copper and also other minerals that are being explored in Zambia. So once that is done, it's going to help the country move forward, because we're going to have an increase in what we call export earnings from the copper production. And this will consequently have a positive impact in the amount of gross domestic product. And this will lead to economic growth.
All right. Mr. Mumba, how can this growth also be distributed to the common person, and so that the impact is felt? Because at the moment, some are saying they can't see, the common man say they can't see this economic growth.
Sure. As a common man, I need to benefit from this economic growth. How so? So what the GRZ should do, the government should make sure that it implements what we call social protection programs. A common person is interested in these programs, meaning increasing the social cash transfer, and once that is done, meaning this wealth that is generated will be distributed also to a common man. Other than that, the government should also increase investment in education, because a common man should also access education. Government should increase investment in healthcare, and also the government should also make sure that it comes up with inclusive economic programs, that is skill development. A common man will benefit from skill developments like what is happening currently under the CDF programs. Mostly it is focusing on a common man. And once this is done, it means this economic growth will indeed be felt by a common man.
All right, Mr. Moya, what should be done again?
Just to add on to what my colleague has said, we need to intensify the decentralization policy and agenda, bring services closer to the people, ease the restrictions in the decentralization policy so that a common man can benefit from the economic growth that is being attained in the economy. Aside from that, we also need to reduce the cost of living by making sure that the basic needs and wants are brought closer to the people at affordable prices. Take, for example, if you reduce the cost of these other basic products, that will benefit an ordinary person in the society. And then apart from that, we should also increase what we call public-private partnership by working together with the private sector to ensure that the services are brought closer to the people. By so doing, the common person in society is going to benefit from the pronouncements of economic growth that we're talking about here.
All right. Mr. Mba, once more again, the country received, actually, I can say in 2024, 2023 and 2024, the agriculture sector was severely affected. And now in 2024 and 2025 now, the country has been blessed with good rains, and many people have cultivated, and they are even complaining actually that the rains it's too much now because we are still receiving rains up to now in April, and it may like to continue even this week. How can the agriculture sector help to destabilize this economic growth which was attained in 2024?
Indeed, it's a blessing from the Almighty God this year that we have received good rainfall. And we have seen a number of increase in agricultural activities, including myself, that never used to be farming. This year I managed to plant, and I'm expecting to harvest some maize. So this agriculture that we have seen indeed will boost economic growth. Number one, there will be food security in the country, and we expect the price of essential commodities such as meal to reduce, because we are expecting a bumper harvest of maize, because God has blessed us with good rainfall. And also the agriculture also provide employment creation, because I know a number of commercial farmers who need manpower, and definitely manpower will come from the community. And once that is done, it means the community will access employment because of the robust activities that we have seen in the agriculture sector. Other than that, you know, Zambia exports a good quantity of maize to the sub-region, and once we do that, we expect the exportation of maize, and which will also increase forex. We are going to earn forex from this exportation. And definitely rural development, because people, citizens will have earnings from the agricultural activities, and they will develop in terms of their livelihood.
All right, Mr. Mleya, how can agriculture also help to boost this economic growth?
Okay, so one of them is increased household income and improved livelihood of the common man in the society. So what we see is that the standard of living is going to improve in our people because of the bumper harvest that they are going to experience this year. Aside from that, this is also going to create jobs for them, because the manufacturing sector is also going to benefit from the bumper harvest that we are going to experience this year. So what we see is growth in the economy because of the increase in food production and also increase in agricultural performance.
All right, and also Mr. Mleya, we have the country right now, the nitrogen chemicals of Zambia in the fuel plant is being expanded. The new machines are being brought in to improve on the production of fertilizer. How is this also going to help in boosting the agriculture sector in this country?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tobin.
Yeah, especially given that previously we have been importing fertilizer from outside the country, and now we have nitrogen chemicals of Zambia, and also we have the private sectors who have set up the manufacturing of fertilizer within Zambia here. Now, this time now we are able to even export some fertilizer outside the country. How is this going to help our agriculture sector?
Okay, in the first place, it's going to reduce the cost of production. So the cost of food production is going to go down in the sense that we now buy local. Other than us buying from outside, we are buying our own fertilizer manufactured within our own economy. So production cost will go down. Once that is done, it's going to also have an impact on the hectareage in terms of production, because now a farmer who was just managing a small portion is going to double his production output because of the increase in the production inputs. Because production output depends on production input. So aside from that, this is also going to create jobs in the agricultural industry, because production is going to scale up, and then this will attract more and more investors in the agricultural sector, which is going to attract employment for the locals and also increase economic growth at the end of the day.
All right, Mr. Mumba, how is this also going to contribute to this growth in agriculture?
Indeed, just like what my friend has alluded to, the key issue is cost of inputs. You know, fertilizer is one of the major inputs in terms of agriculture, and once the cost of fertilizer is reduced, we expect economic activities to increase in the agricultural sector, meaning the output to be enhanced, if not tripled, then we can afford times what we used to be producing. And this in effect will provide employment to the locals and also to other citizens. Apart from that, once output is enhanced, we expect a lot of forex earnings from the export of the maize and other agricultural products that will be produced as a result of cost reduction in fertilizer as a factor of production in agricultural activities.
All right, Mr. Muleya, in 2025, Zambia's economic focus projects a real gross domestic product, or the GDP growth rate of about 6.6%. Is this attainable?
Yes, it is attainable in the sense that we have increase in mining activities, just as we have been talking about here. Resilient mining sector is one of them that is going to lead to this economic growth, or the real GDP growth rate of 6.6%. So it is attainable in the sense that the mining sector is showing positive results, is promising. Aside from that, financial stability is also something that we can talk about, which will enhance the sustainability or the attainability of the real GDP growth rate of 6.6%. Then, we are just from talking about agricultural production. A bumper harvest is on the way, which is going to guarantee us food security. And that bumper harvest will lead to a rise in jobs, a rise in export earnings, an increase in economic activities, because we have enough in the economy. Apart from that, increased investment in human capital is one of the things that we cannot leave out when we talk about attaining this 6.6 projection of GDP growth rate in the year 2025. So we see an increase in human capital. Government is doing more to improve on skills development, to increase on human capital, so that production can go up, and once production can go up, the gross domestic product will also increase. So apart from that, the tourism sector is also promising. There's a fertile environment. The climate is good in the tourism sector, attracting more and more investment. All these are the things that are going to help the economy attain this 6.6% projection of GDP growth.
All right, Mr. Mumba, is this attainable?
Sure, it is indeed attainable. Once the government puts into measures that can lead to attainment of the projected economic growth. Just like my colleague has mentioned, the mining sector is promising. You know, on the onset, I did give some of the statistics concerning the new investment in the mining sector because of the government reforms as far as the mining sector is concerned. So once all those pledges are put into place, they are actualized, meaning the mining sector will see massive growth, and indeed we are going to increase on our forex that we earn from copper exportation. And also the government should diversify its economic activities. We shouldn't just concentrate on the mining sector. Let's broaden up and see other key sectors that the government should invest in, such as tourism, just like my friend mentioned. We have got so many tourism facilities here in Zambia, and the natural things that God has blessed us with. And once the government exploits such opportunities in the tourism sector, indeed we can attain this economic growth. And also, we need to attract a number of FDIs, meaning foreign direct investments. And once we attract a good foreign direct investments, this will increase economic growth.
All right. Again, the government is also aiming to reduce inflation to a range of 6 to 8%, cut the fiscal deficit to 3.1% of the GDP, and also maintain international reserves to over 3 months import cover. Is this also attainable in this year's economic focus? Mr. Bray.
Yes, Mr. Tobin. I would say it is attainable in the sense that, first of all, we focus it from the point of view of the fiscal policy. The contractional fiscal policy being embarked on is meant to reduce government spending. And then this is also going to increase the tax burden, which will consequently have the plow back effect in the economy. So aside from that, the monetary policy is also very, very aggressive. It's helping to bring down the cost of goods and services by reducing the inflation rate. So once this is done, we're going to see the attainment of the reduction in the inflation rate and also the fiscal deficit. Apart from that, the fiscal consolidation is also one of the milestones that we can talk about. So this is also meant to ensure that we reduce the burden on the economy. So all these will help us attain the reduction in the inflation rate and also reduce the fiscal deficit. Remember, one of the macroeconomic objectives is to attain a single-digit inflation. So which by doing all these policies and coming up with all these things that we have explained will help us attain this objective at the end of the day. Then last but not the least is economic diversification. So with economic diversification, moving away from overdependence on copper production, then we also invest in these other economic sectors, which will at the end of the day increase the gross domestic product, and then the economy will grow. So basically those are some of the focus areas that will help us reduce the inflation and also the fiscal deficit.
All right. Mr. Mumba, is this also attainable?
Sure, it is attainable. More importantly, if the government looks at the two main key things, and that is the monetary policy and also the fiscal policy. The monetary policy being how the government regulates the supply of money in the economy, and if this policy is effective, indeed we can see the attainment of the inflation targeted. And once the monetary policy is effective, meaning the government will control the supply of money in the economy. If there's too much supply of money in the economy, the government will come up with measures that should reduce that supply of money in the economy by reducing the saving rates, and that will reduce the supply of money in the economy. And also, when the government manages its fiscal discipline and it is maintained, that is managing its spending, definitely we can attain this. And one way the government can do so is by strengthening the institution of governance, so that the issue of corruption is combated, and you know corruption externalizes funds. And once this institution of governance are strengthened, meaning the government spending indeed can be regulated.
All right. Also come to the global credit rating agency, Moody's Investor Service, has also revised Zambia's economic outlook from stable to positive. What does this mean to the country's economic recovery? Mr. Mle.
I'll start with what made us reach that level. Okay, so the key things that led the international community to rate us well is the pronouncements of the debt restructuring. The debt restructuring agenda helped us to reach that level of rating. Apart from that, economic reforms such as diversification meant to create an enabling environment which sent a very good signal to the international community. Then the fiscal consolidation, which meant to reduce the debt burden on our economy, also sent a very good signal to the international community. Now, what does this mean to an ordinary man? What it means is that there will be lower cost of borrowing. Okay? There will be lower cost of borrowing. We expect a reduction in the cost of living, and then there's also going to be increase in the investor confidence because of the fact that we have been rated high by the international community. Apart from that, it's going to also lead to what we call enhanced economic stability, because now investors, as they come, they are going to invest more in key sectors of the economy, and this will consequently have a positive impact in the economy, and we are going to attain our economic growth at the end of the day.
All right, Mr. Mumba, what is your take on this rating by Moody?
Indeed, my take is exactly what my friend has mentioned. You know, the good rating increases confidence in investors, meaning the foreign direct investment will be enhanced. People will be willing to come and invest here in Zambia because we have got the capability now to manage our debts. And also, what that simply means is fiscal stability. You know, fiscal policy is all about revenue mobilization. So if there's fiscal stability, it means whatever that we are collecting in revenue as a country will be mobilized nicely, meaning it will even reach a common man because of that issue of debt restructuring. It's like the burden is a bit relieved and we are now able to breathe, meaning the government can also put aside a revenue that it can mobilize to infrastructure development, education provision, healthcare, and this indeed will benefit even a common man. Other than that, because of good credit rating, this will result in a positive economic growth prospects and the economic reforms that we can implement as a country.
All right. And also Moody's noted that Zambia's economic reforms, including debt restructuring agreements and enhanced revenue mobilization, have contributed to improved fiscal stability. The country's real GDP growth is now projected at above 5% in this year in 2025 and has also improved investor confidence. Is this the signal for a better Zambia that everyone has been yearning for, given that all things are equal this year? Are we seeing better days, Mr. Mre?
Thank you. Yes, we are seeing better days for our mother Zambia, in the sense that, one, investor confidence is translated into job creation. So when investors come, they are going to create jobs within the economy. So the foreign direct investment is going to reduce the levels of unemployment down, and therefore consumption expenditure is also going to increase. Therefore, this will also have a positive impact on the gross domestic product. Aside from that, it is also going to lead to what we call enhanced economic stability through what we call fiscal discipline. That said, we can also not leave out the issue of the standard of living, because all these economic policies we're talking about here are meant to ease the livelihood of the ordinary Zambians. So there will be an improvement in the standard of living, reduced poverty levels, reduced inequalities, increase in the provision of social services within the community, increase in infrastructure development, and then consequently increase in economic growth. So these are the things that will come along with the signal that we have for our mother Zambia.
All right, Mr. Mumba, your take on these projections?
Okay, so this can only be attained if, number one, the economic growth is inclusive, meaning whatever economic growth that we are attaining is benefiting all segments of the society. Otherwise, if that is not happening, then our growth will be just on the paper. So what we need to do is the reforms, the economic reforms that we are coming up with should be sustained and should support economic growth and stability. And this is when we can see poverty reduction, reduction in essential commodity prices, and also skill development, helping the youths to have skills, and also infrastructure development. So once the reforms are not sustained, this cannot be the order of the day. Otherwise, we are on a good journey and we hope things to improve in the future.
All right, as we conclude our program on the Zambia's economic growth, which was registered in 2024, what will be your last words as we conclude the program, Mr. Mune?
We need to intensify a strong institutional frameworks, bring everyone on board. Civil society organizations, the private sector, public-private partnership must also be enhanced to ensure that the economy is moving, because the economy lies in the hands of almost everyone. Apart from that, we also need to intensify stakeholder engagement. We engage the stakeholders, create an enabling environment for business so that the investors can feel at home. And this will lead to job creation. And this will also increase on the amount of consumption expenditure. Once consumption expenditure goes up, it will have a trickle-down effect on the amount of gross domestic product. So basically, these are the things that we should work around with, so that we move forward as the economy and also as the country. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Mumba, your concluding remarks as well.
Right, indeed, in the year 2024, we saw a good trends in terms of economic performance, and we expect these trends to continue even in future. We need to increase our copper production if we are to maintain and sustain our economic growth. We also need to diversify our economy and invest in other areas of the economy other than concentrating on the two major ones, which is the mining sector and agriculture. We also need to attract foreign direct investment if we are to maintain and sustain the economic growth that we witnessed in the year 2024. And also we need to invest in infrastructure and developing our human capital, concentrating on the TVET skills. And once we do that, indeed, we will develop our human capital, and this will increase economic growth activities. Also, we need to reduce over-dependence on the hydropower. You know, last year we didn't have good rainfall, and only that we are blessed this year. So we need to diversify our investment in energy sector by coming up with other energy sources, like investing in renewable energies, capitalizing on the solar energy. And in case of droughts, we cannot cry foul as we cried some time back. And the government also should concentrate on making sure that inflation is maintained in the manageable ranges, so that the essential commodities prices are accessed, and the commodities are accessed by poor people. By so doing, it means we are trickling down the benefits of economic growth even to the common man. And also, lastly but not least, the government should maintain its fiscal discipline by maintaining and regulating its spending so that key areas of the economy are well financed and indeed will maintain on the same trajectory that we have witnessed of economic growth.
Well, viewers, we have come to the end of our program, and on today's program, The Lens, we have been discussing about Zambia's economic growth recorded in 2024. As you are aware, the country recorded an economic growth of 4.0% of the gross domestic product, the GDP. And to discuss this matter, I had with me in the studio Mr. Joseph Mulea and Mr. Harrison Mumba. Both of them are lecturers at NIPA under Business Studies. And I have been your host, Tovidi Ngombe, and on behalf of my technical team and everyone who has been watching, we're saying goodbye and see you on the next program. Bye-bye.